From Fox News. You know what's funny? Okay. Even Fox News won't go as far as the rest of the mainstream media when they're talking about these stories. They say, Black Lives Matter protesters storm Oklahoma Capitol over GOP bills protecting drivers fleeing riots, police from doxing. More than 24 protesters filled gallery while Oklahoma House was in session. That's the news. Fox News will not say insurrectionists. Storming, insurrectionists. They won't say it. The mainstream press will say that about Trump supporters all day and night.
All day.
There's no real meaningful opposition, I got to be honest. You look at Fox News, right? Sean Hannity was like, the Derek Chauvin verdict was the correct verdict. Tucker Carlson was like, no, it wasn't. Even Fox News can't agree on whether or not they support the cop or they support the guilty verdict. Even when you look to Fox News and other conservative outlets, they're not going to say insurrectionists storm the Capitol. They won't do it. So that's a huge issue, I suppose. These extremists are protected, even by conservative media. Why? I guess because conservative media doesn't want to play that game for the most part.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be more in line with Hannity on the Chauvin question. But when it comes to the Capitol being stormed, even though, again, this is not the Capitol, this is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no one cares about Oklahoma.
Nothing that happens in Oklahoma matters, as they say. So it doesn't matter. It's crazy to me. I think part of it might be that Fox wants to try to appear more neutral because they have the baggage of being considered a biased network. And other networks just don't. People know CNN is biased, but for whatever reason, they've been able to play themselves off as neutral for many years. Whereas I don't think Fox has had that luxury. I really do think it's an overreaction to the perception that they're biased.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's really weird. Tucker Carlson's opinions are very, very different from the traditional opinions of the network. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that's part of why I enjoy watching him so much.
Yeah. No, I think the issue is there's on the right and the disaffected liberals, anti-woke, anti-establishment. There's the rules and the exceptions, and they differ from the rules and exceptions on the Democrat side. On the Democrat side, you have establishment media, they act as stenographers for the state, and they will say the most insane and most extreme things like, I don't know, maybe they'll say something like Tucker Carlson had a psychotic break on his show last night because he was laughing like a crazy person. Sure, I guess. Tucker laughed, outrageously. They wouldn't call it a psychotic break. But you'll get that from mainstream press. You'll get that from partisan left press.
If that's a psychotic break, what do you call what Kamala's been doing? Right? She's like breaking down into psychotic laughter constantly. It's like her whole thing.
Well,
to be most of what she does.
There's a difference between megalomania and psychosis.
Okay, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
it's a fine line, but I suppose there's a difference.
You know what is missing from Kamala though? A mustache that she can twirl.
Oh my goodness!
You got to twirl the mustache.
I would be more believing of it. I'd be like, yeah, I can see it. No, I mean, it's interesting. So this was an anti-rioting bill?
Oh, yeah. Oklahoma City's passed the anti-rioting bill. They made it law. And this one's interesting. I think this one's actually a bit better than Florida's because this one makes it a misdemeanor to obstruct a roadway instead of a felony. I don't think it should be a felony for a bunch of protesters to block a street. It should certainly be illegal. They make it a serious felony. You get up to a year in jail for blocking a street. I think that's appropriate. I think nonviolent civil disobedience should be, respected to a certain degree. You do it, you still get arrested, though. You commit a crime. Blocking a street, you get arrested.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
go to jail.
I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't really have a strong opinion on whether that should be a misdemeanor or a felony. But if you block the street, you can prevent an ambulance from getting through, and people can die as a result of that.
Well, that's a different charge, though, isn't it?
So if there was but then here's the question. If I'm blocking a roadway and there's some amount of traffic and many cars back, there's an ambulance, which I can't see, and now somebody dies, but I was unaware. What kind of charge is that?
Same
Do
charge.
I still get hit?
Yeah, that's murder. You killed him.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm fine with that.
The issue is a felony charge for, marching down the street and saying dumb stuff. I don't think so, man. That means you can't vote, you can't get a gun, you can't travel.
Yeah.
We had this debate already the other day, I think, with Will Chamberlain. He was very much in favor of the felony. But in Oklahoma City, they passed this anti-riot bill, and it specifically says that if you're fleeing a riot, you're not civilly liable if, you hit somebody. And they're protesting this, storming the Capitol, demanding the right to, mercilessly beat drivers.
No, that's insane. It's insane.
Right.
And I think that's probably the happy middle ground, if you could call it that, to just say, yeah, no, if you're behind the wheel of a car and people are rioting and you feel threatened, it's fine to just drive through them. It's an ugly situation. You hope you're never in it, but people have to be able to protect themselves.
I don't know. It sounds like something they should storm the Capitol.
Yeah, I think they should storm the Capitol. Well, here's the thing, Tim.
Wait,
this is an anti-rioting bill, and you could say it's ironic that they rioted over an anti-rioting bill, but they really didn't riot. They committed insurrection, so they're a couple moves ahead of us.
I'm confused as to what the rules are right now. Like
There are none.
Am
Tim?
I allowed to support Black Lives Matter insurrection, or is that still promoting insurrection? You know what I mean? Like,
Of course not, Tim. Of course, there are no rules. There are no standards for them. Of course, you can support that kind of an insurrection.
Hold on.
It's a mostly peaceful insurrection.
Yes.
yes. So as long as you say peaceful protest, you can say whatever you want, right?
Basically, yeah,
Like
you
if
can
I
do whatever
said
you want.
The incoming peaceful protests that we will see over the summer from Black Lives Matter will leave a wake of destruction, fire, and death.
It's like, well, dude, they said it was peaceful, all right? It's right on the flyer.
Mostly
So,
peaceful.
it's like
Oh yeah,
mostly
didn't you just do
peaceful.
something today?
Yes, we did do a cartoon. It's called Mostly Peaceful Maxine Waters. If you guys want to check that out, that was the third of a series of, as I mentioned, 3 cartoons we did in 1 week. We're pretty proud of it. Check it out.
Wow.
She's a hoot.
You know, one of the challenges with this, because we were talking about this before we went live. I was like, this is just so redundant.
I know. It's
How
like
many
this
times
keeps
are we
happening.
like, oh look, they did it again, and the media doesn't care?
I know. Well, this is hilarious because there was a video I did a couple of years ago on gun violence. And this must have been 2015, 2016, maybe 2017. I bet I still got it wrong, even though I threw 3 different years out. But in the video, I say that one of the reasons we need the Second Amendment, one reason people should be able to own assault rifles is because inner city shop owners and other people living in these neighborhoods might need to be able to protect themselves from multiple people when there are riots because the media irresponsibly riles up racial tensions. And so people are commenting on this over the past couple months. Oh, you're a prophet. You saw this coming. It's like, no, it's just that the news media is all reruns. This stuff keeps happening
Right.
over and over and over again. I didn't predict anything. I just made a cartoon about what was happening, and it's relevant again.
You know what would have been funny? If Bernie Sanders won, and then they were like, the Bernie bros, they're staging an insurrection at the Capitol, because they were doing that. Like, you were mentioning that earlier, weren't you? Was
What?
it you? Somebody earlier was like, Bernie almost got the same
Oh,
treatment
we were
with the-
talking about that. I wasn't the one who brought it up, but no, it's true. Bernie almost got the exact same treatment that
Bernie
Trump
bros.
got. Yes, where they're calling them Bernie bros. They were saying they were really violent. They were, or at least that their rhetoric was violent. They were being misogynistic and harassing women on the other. It's almost like all this social justice stuff is just an excuse to silent dissent, and they don't actually care. It's just about getting their political goals across.
Hey, that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just, I kind of wish we were in that timeline where it's like Bernie Sanders is like, go home, go be peaceful.
You're my special boys. You go home, my special boys. Everything, it's true. Go home. It's okay.
Could you imagine,
my
like,
special boys?
I mean, the funny thing is, we are seeing the Bernie bros committing acts of violence, burning
Yeah,
things down.
yeah.
They're substantially
Well-
more violent than Trump supporters are.
Yeah, I guess we don't know exactly how many of them are Bernie bros, but we know there's some
Oh,
overlap.
come on, dude.
Yeah,
The
no, I know.
Antifa people
There's
are Bernie bros.
a lot. Yeah, yeah.
And they're going around burning stuff down, and the media is just like, let's not, Bernie, he said vote for Hillary. So,
Exactly.
Let's not,
now,
let's
if
not
he
go
hadn't said vote for Hillary, they would have been like,
Could you
this
imagine?
this seditionist movement within the Democratic Party. Well, it's crazy though because. I mean, you look at this, you look at these riots that are occurring, and it just becomes obvious that this is like the militant arm of the Democratic Party. I'm not the first to say this, but there's sort of a wink and a nod,
Yeah, they're cutting them loose. They're dropping the charges.
yeah.
I would just, I don't want something like that to happen. I have to admit, I'd be thoroughly entertained by Bernie Sanders being like, the 1% need to face justice. Take to the streets. And then like Antifa's running around and they were like waving Bernie flags instead of Trump flags. And they're like,
He's like, here's is how we're going to destroy the 1%. Find a small business and throw a brick through the window. That will show them.
I don't know what Antifa's thinking, but that seems to be their strategy.
That's their plan. It's a brilliant strategy. It's really
Yeah.
unfortunate.
We live in it's a like you said, it's a rerun, man. It's like 2021. It was going to see the same thing over and over again.
No, because it's just going to get worse and worse and worse till it collapses, right?
So-
if we don't change course, this can't just keep happening.
It'd be cool if it was kind of like Game of Thrones, though, where we
Nuh-uh.
have this really intense first few seasons, and then the last season is just like a crudely drawn horse, and we're all confused as to what's happening. No, I think I gotta be honest. I do think it's like that, right? So 2021 was like the first 6 seasons, I guess, of Game of Thrones, where everyone's all like, it's intense, and everyone's like, Donald Trump, it's the most important, banging the table. And now we have this year where the Democrats are like, child knife fights are normal, and we're like,
What?
Yeah,
see
no,
that?
that was horrible.
Ian?
The 2 girls.
No, to the Democrats arguing that
No.
teenage knife fights are normal and the police should let
Bro,
them
didn't you
happen.
ever go to Boy Scout camp? You get your whittling
God.
chip, and then all of a sudden people just start like stabbing each other.
Dude,
Jeez.
when I was a kid in south side of Chicago, every child was running around with some kind of knife.
Exactly.
Everybody, no, that
They
doesn't
wanted to
happen.
make sure everyone had a knife.
That's fair.
How insane is this that they literally were defending that? That's what I'm saying. They jumped the shark, right? Fonzie was, Jump the Shark, Fonzie had
Yeah,
jumped over the
on a
shark
jet
tank.
ski, right?
Is that what it was?
No,
Or
I
the
think he
motorcycle
jumped.
over
I
the-
think he jumped a shark on water skis or something. He was over a ramp.
That was a motorcycle.
It could have been.
That's where we're at. I was sitting there, and I was working on my show for 4 p.m. and I'm like, I have this thing about new police training measures and police accountability. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. The police departments are responding, and then I see these tweets where it's like, children have knife fights all the time, and I was like,
it's normal, bro.
No,
Didn't you, Tim? Didn't you have a brother? I mean, come on, this is
Yeah.
normal stuff. Me and my sibling got into knife fights all
I'm
the
just
time.
like, no,
you
I'm-
want to know how I got these scars?
I'm just telling people, like, please, if there's any segment of mine you've ever shared, share the one where I'm showing the tweets from Democratic personalities saying that teenagers should be allowed to have knife fights.
Tim, normalized kids having.
No.
Don't do it.
They said that, not me.
I know.
I'm
I know.
saying.
No,
show-
I know. I'm making fun of them.
Down.
You have to have the clap emojis in there.
clap emojis.
Normalized kids having
And
knife
then
fights.
it was Bree Newsom who like locked her account because everybody was like, "Yo, are you serious with this?"
But like, also, how do we?
What was it? Valerie Jarrett is her name?
Yeah, it's Valerie Jarrett.
How do
and
we-
she's like, "Let the children have their knife fights."
How do we live in a world where using the wrong pronouns is violent? Like, it's normal for kids.
Literal knife
It's
fights.
so weird. They're hypersensitive about really weird things. Like, if you use the wrong pronouns, or like, if you don't support the welfare state, you want everyone to die, but then they're like super in favor of abortion. Apparently now child knife fights are like a normal thing. It's weird how they shut their empathy off.
Get out of cities. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.